did MJ Cichlids start?
Wow, okay. So,
It started as a hobby of wanting to have cichlids as fish, specifically African cichlids from Lake Malawi. There are 2,000 different species of cichlids in Lake Malawi, and they're all really nice, bright, colourful fish, and they're quite large fish as well, not like your normal tropicals that are quite small. So on my first wedding anniversary, Mark basically bought me cichlids. Bought me my first cichlid tank, which is what you see over there.
about 4 years ago, we bought a fish tank. I think we've still got the fish tank, actually, the original one.
And we bought some cichlids and away we went. And then all of a sudden they started having babies. And we saved all the babies, brought them up in a separate tank, so that was tank number 2. And then as they got bigger and they were kept having more and more babies, we ended up with tank number 3.
And then we realised that actually, oh dear, we've got more.
And then it got to a point where we were overrun by cichlids, so we decided we would have to start a business.
How's water?
Did you ever believe that you would ever have over 40 tanks?
No. No. I mean, we used to have a joke that 10 tanks was obsessive.
When we got to 5 tanks, I actually told Mark any more and I would divorce him. But I'm still here, and there's 42. So obviously I didn't mean it.
Do you know what? We said, do you know what, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it. We're going to go large. So 3 years ago, probably 2.5 years ago, we decided to take the wall out, shall we say, and that was the start of MJ Cichlids.
So, you mentioned the fish room there. How much work was involved in that transformation? And are you proud of the work that you did?
So there was an extension to the kitchen, or sorry, not an extension, but there was a part of the kitchen that was freezing cold, and there was an outbuilding which was probably the old coal house. But I knew, because of the roof structure, that they were connected. So I said to Jen, I'm going to make a fish room, and she went, go for it. I remember knocking the first brick out and they were Maltby bricks. I mean, Maltby bricks are like, yeah, they're just solid.
Half of it was outside with a door leading into that part, and then the other half you could access from the house, and that just had the boiler and a washing machine in there, sorry. So what Mark decided to do was move the washing machine into the kitchen, which meant rearranging the kitchen as well. But he did that, plumbed that in, and then he knocked through into the outside part of the outhouse, which was double brick, Maltby brick, very hard work, very messy. And then he had to king span it all out with insulation, 6-inch insulation, to make sure it retained its heat for the fish. Same on the ceiling as well, and it had a curved ceiling, and he actually plastered, for the first time ever, plastered the ceiling and all the walls, and I have to say he's done an absolutely amazing job of it. You wouldn't know an amateur had done it. He's also put in like a little sink unit and plumbed that in, so we've now got a sink in there as well. Put a boiler cupboard around the boiler, and then put all the racking in for the fish tanks as well. He's done an absolutely fantastic job, actually.
What is your day-to-day life like running MJ Cichlids?
Tough. Tough. Because we both work full time, and cichlids are notoriously dirty fish, really. So they need a lot of water changes, and yeah, it's tough. You know, we're over 40 odd tanks, and if you don't keep on top of them, then you start to get disease fish.
there is also the matter of looking after the fish, which is the most important. So that involves every single tank in the house has a 50% water change every week. The tanks in the fish room have 50% water change 3 times a week because they don't have external filters that they get dirtier quicker. So we have to do all that, we have to clean all the glass, and then we have to fill them back up again, which can take, sometimes you don't feel like doing it, but you know, one of us is always more enthusiastic than the other, and we like, kind of push each other along to get it done. There's also stripping the fish, which is taking the babies out of the fish's mouths when they've been holding for a while.
This is Peaches. She's a dragon blood, and again we're hoping that she's got live babies. So just try to open her mouth. Come on, baby. She's clamped. Yep, she's got live babies, so they're coming out now. You can see. So again, she's been about 3 weeks. That's a dead egg there, so about 3 weeks she's held them. No food, no sleep, just constantly spinning the babies round and round and round, just so they get oxygen. Doesn't hurt them, this, by the way, it's just to stop her spitting them. Then what we do is we hold her up just to make sure that she's done. If she's got her mouth wide open, which she has, she's showing me she's empty, and she can go back in with her friends.
What would you say your favourite part of running MJ Cichlids is?
That would be watching the baby fish grow into their colours. All the baby fish, when they're born, they're kind of a browny colour. They all look brown. I mean, I'll be honest, Mark was worried with our first batch of baby fish that we ever had that they were just brown fish. And then we came down one morning and one of them had turned blue overnight. It's weird how quickly they change, but watching them grow into the colours and then moving them into the fish room where they're under proper lights and sorting them into the little compartments, if you like, so you'd have one variety in one tank and one variety in another. And then people actually come in and buy in those fish and then leaving you good reviews and saying how amazing the quality of the fish was. That's the best bit.
So do you remember each and every fish in your tanks, or do you just have a selection of favourites?
I'll be honest, in the house, every single male has a name, and every single female in this tank has a name. So for instance, in this tank we've got, just pointing out quickly, we've got a Mr. Zach, we've got Mason there, we've got Dumbo there, we've got Trevor, we've got Frank, we've got Sergeant, who's my absolute favourite, you can't see him very well, Floozy, his girlfriend. So they've all got names in that tank. Yes, quite the vast majority have got names.
What's your favourite part of running at MJ Cichlids?
Offering cichlids to people who generally can't afford the shop prices. Cichlids are very expensive fish. You know, you can go and pay 35, 40 pounds for a small one, somewhere up to £100 for a large one. Whereas our ethos is that we don't want to do that. We just want to offer cichlids, or African cichlids, at an affordable price.
So you're a member of SVAS.
Mm-hmm.
What does that membership mean for you as a business?
SVAS is an opportunity to try and expand our business and try to network.
SVAS stands for Sheaf Valley Aquarius Society. There are lots of these little societies all across England. There's one in Nottingham, one in Leeds, one in Bradford. Basically, it's a group where people who, hobby breeders, a bit like me and Mark started out being hobby breeders, would meet up once a month just to discuss all things fishy, like the best way to look after them. We get little lectures from experts who come in sometimes and tell us about guppies or tell us about a certain type of pleck or catfish or something like that. We get to go on little trips out to aquariums, and basically it's networking, it's getting to know other people who've got similar interests to ourselves, and it also gives us access to more resources, I suppose, to help with the business, definitely to help with the business. It also means that we can sell sometimes at the auctions some of the stock that we have, so that's nice as well. Auctions are always good fun. So today we're going to our first Sheath Valley Aquarium Society auction to sell, which is why the car is absolutely packed full of fish. 4 o'clock this morning, getting to sort all this out, bagging and tagging. Hard work. And yes, we are mad.
So, what are you selling at this auction?
At this particular auction we've got lots of different plecs like Snow White, Bristle Noses, Starlights, King Tigers, all sorts of different plecs. We've also got lots and lots of different coloured shrimps and some guppy grass, things like that, and we've brought a couple of cichlids, but we don't actually think they'll sell, but we thought we'd give it a go.
Anybody? Algae wafers. Nice bag again. Pound anyway. Yep. Who said that? Kyle. Pound I've got 150 anyway. Wilden a pound. So pound behind me.
Speaking of the auctions, you recently went to an S-Class auction not too long ago. What were the results of that auction?
Well, for that particular auction we didn't really take any of our cichlids just because they're not community fish and most people who go to the auctions buy community fish. So we took lots of plecos, we took lots and lots of different types of shrimp that we breed as well, plenty of guppy grass that we also grow, and basically we made £580 at that auction, so that was quite successful.
What are your plans for the future expansion of the business?
Ultimately, one of the other reasons we started the business is because I've got a few health problems. So what Mark really wants more than anything else is to be able to get us in a position where I could devote myself full time to running the business rather than having to work a job as well, just so I could get a little bit more rest. And ultimately, I suppose we'd like to end up in a little shop with a flat above. That'd be our dream.
So, what makes MJ Cichlids special? Why should cichlid enthusiasts, both new and old, consider buying fish from MJ Cichlids?
Well, we have an amazing selection for a small place. In fact, we've got probably the best selection in South Yorkshire, and that's not just me saying that. I've actually been around all the shops in South Yorkshire. I know we've got the best selection, and that's because we've got so many breeding tanks with so many different types of fish that we're able to offer about 20 different breeds, which is quite unusual for somebody so as small as we are. Plus, we don't hormone our fish. Like when you import fish, they put hormones into them, which means that they become brightly coloured, but then they go dull very quickly. So people buy a nice bright fish, and then within a week it's gone down to a dull grey colour, and they don't always get the colours back fully when they've been hormoned. Whereas we let ours obviously breed them ourselves, so we don't hormone them, we don't do anything to them, we grow them naturally. So the colours that they have are the colours that they will keep, and they will just get brighter. And the other thing is, as we breed our own, obviously we can be cheaper than people who are importing. We don't have those import costs to pay. And the fish that we have are all good quality. We've made sure we've gone out and sourced the best fish for breeding. So ultimately we have amazing fish at cheap prices. So, and also we're very nice people.